So I've been like anticipating this video for a very long time now, for like months, because this is one of the videos that I always look forward to watching, and when it comes to like my knitting podcasts that I watch. So I'm so excited to finally be able to do this video, and it's the Everything I Knit in 2022 video. I have decided to split this video into two parts. The first part, which is this one, will be garments. So like sweaters that I made for myself, and also two sweaters or like slipovers garments that I made as gift knits. But those are all like the things that will be included in this video, which is part one. And then part two, which I'll be filming later, will be baby knits. Because I know that not all people are interested in seeing baby knits, because maybe you don't have a baby in your life that you knit for, or you're just not interested in knitting baby knits, or whatever. Or like whatever the reason, I know that some people are not interested in those kinds of knits. So I decided to make a separate video for baby knits, because I did make a few baby knits this year, because I do have a 1-year-old at home, and I did knit quite a lot for her this year. So I want to include that as well, but I don't want like to include it in this video. This video is going to be long anyways. So I've decided to make a separate video just for like all the baby knits I made. So I made 12 sweaters for myself this year, and I also made 2 gift knits. So I've been knitting away, and it's also very fun for me to see, because I started knitting in like October-ish, maybe November, no, I think October 2021. So I haven't been knitting for that long. This is like my first full year of knitting. So all the sweaters I ever knit for myself are included in this video, because I didn't knit a sweater for myself in those like first 3 months that I was knitting, because I started knitting in October 2021, and I knitted only baby knits because Iris was born in December 2021. So like when I was very, very pregnant and was having like a lot of pain and stuff like that, and we were in the midst of COVID, so we weren't leaving the house a lot. We were just sat on the couch. Simon was playing Zelda, and I was knitting. So I knit baby knits for those first 3 months. So all the sweaters I ever knit for myself are included in this video, which I think is great. I like that. So yeah, I like that we're like on this annual cycle now, that we like started that way. Yeah, I'm gonna get going because there's a lot of sweaters to show, and I don't have a lot of time because Simon and Iris are gonna be back pretty soon. So I'm gonna try to film this before they get back. So I'm just wearing like a regular black top. I have a skirt on, and that's what I'm gonna be wearing, because I'm gonna be trying on all the sweaters. So keep in mind that this is maybe not the outfit that I would choose for all of these sweaters, but this is what I'm going for, because a lot of them are cropped, which you know if you've been here for a while, and I want them to like show off nicely. Yeah, for reference, if you want to like think about how these sweaters fit me and how that would fit you and all of that jazz, my bust circumference is 107 centimeters. I don't know what that is in inches. You can Google it. And I can't, from like the top of my head, remember all the colors of the yarns and all the sizes that I made. So all of that info will be in the description as usual. I'm gonna get going. So I'm gonna do this chronologically because I think that is fun. So that's what I'm gonna do. But first, we need to hold them up, right? Do we? I think we do. I'm already regretting it. Ta-da! So these are all the sweaters that I knit for myself this year, and I'm so excited to show them to you. You've seen all of them already if you've been here. So the first sweater is this one. This is the first sweater I ever knit for myself. This is the No Frills by Testknit. And I knit this in the Sandnes Garn Sunday, held double with Drops Kid Silk. I'm gonna put it on for you so that you can see how it fits me. here it is. I'm gonna take a few steps back so you can see it better. So this sweater is the first sweater I knit. I love the color of this. I'm obsessed with the color of this. But to be honest, I never wear this sweater. I think I've worn this sweater like twice, maybe 3 times. Yeah, 3 times tops, I think. And the reason for that is the mohair. I knit this sweater, and like I said, it's the first sweater I ever knit, and mohair was all the rage, so I decided to go for it. And honestly, I can't stand this sweater because it's so itchy. And I don't know if that is because I went for the budget option on the mohair. I went for the drops kid silk instead of like, I don't know, tin silk by Sandnes or Knitting for Olives or something like that. Something more expensive, might have been softer for me. But honestly, just wearing it now, I've worn it for like a minute and it's already scratching so much. And I've worn this, I have only like a tank top on now, so obviously there's a lot of skin contact and it's so itchy. But I've worn this with like a sweater under, like a full sleeve and everything. It's still itchy. I can't do it, which is sad because I do love the color. I like the fit. If I made this now, I would have made more decreases to the sleeves, which you know if you've been here, because that's all I talk about, making more decreases on the sleeves, because this oversized look, it's not what I'm going for usually. It's not my favorite. I would have decreased out this bit probably so that it was more like that, which is more what I prefer. This is bound off using just a regular bind off, which is not stretchy at all. So the bottom of this sweater is very tight, doesn't stretch, and I don't know if I like that. I don't think I do. I do the Jenny Surprisingly stretchy bind off nowadays because I like that it has a little bit of stretch. But for like my first sweater, I think this was a good project, and I do like it. I like how it fits. I love the color, but the mohair makes it impossible for me to wear. Like I said, I've been wearing it for a few minutes now, talking to you, and it's already scratching me, especially around the chest area, where I have skin contact as well right now because of the top that I'm wearing. But yeah, I don't wear this sweater at all, which is a shame. I might give it away, we'll see. I'm a bit sentimental about it because it is the first sweater I ever made. So I would like to keep it, but it also is a very nice garment. So I might give it away. We'll see. Moving on, the next sweater. This is kind of funny because we're going from the first sweater I ever made, which I never wear, literally never, to the second sweater I ever made, which is my most worn sweater of this year. I love this sweater so much. I wear it all the time, and I would like to put a disclaimer here that I didn't do like a refresh of any of my sweaters before this video, so they're not like recently washed, recently blocked, recently de-peeled or anything. I just wanted to show them to you in the state that they actually are. And this is the sweater that I wear all the time. I reach for it so much. I love this one. I think the blue No Frills actually taught me a lot when it came to my preference when it comes to a knitted sweater, which is why we went from a sweater that I never wear, because I went off like everybody else's preference, into the sweater that I wear all the time because I made it from my own preference. So this is the Felix pullover, and I love it. I knitted it in heavy merino from Knitting for Olive. This is the color Bordeaux, I know that. And I made some modifications to it. I did a double folded collar instead of the like regular collar that is in the pattern, which I really like. I like the double folded. I like the look of it. And then we have the sleeves, which are very fitted. And I've talked about this in an episode, but this pattern is the only pattern where I haven't had to modify the sleeves. They fit me like a glove, the way I love, and I don't have to do anything about it. I like it. So this is also super cropped, which is another thing that I figured out from the No Frills that I like. because I do wear a lot of skirts and a lot of dresses, and I love being able to wear a knitted sweater on top. So I'm gonna back up so you can see how it is. I'm hoping at least you can see. This one is very, very cropped. It ends, I usually describe it as like it ends right where my boobs ends, because this is the truth. Because this is like my waist, and my waist is at the exact same point where my boobs end. So that's where my sweaters end. Super cropped, and I love it. So yeah, this is the one that I reach for all the time. I love this sweater so much. I can't rave about it enough. I might make like 10 of these before I'm done because I wear it so much. And also here I went for the Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, and I do really, really enjoy it. And also, I gotta say, this yarn, I had to think about it, but this yarn, the Heavy Merino from Knitting for Olive, is my favorite yarn across all boards because it wears so nicely. It's easy to work with. I like how it feels. It's not super soft. It's a little bit rustic, but it's still a merino, so it's still soft. But this yarn hardly peels anything at all. I wear this sweater all the time, literally all the time. And I think I de-pilled this maybe once. Did I even do it once? Maybe once on the sleeves. And you see there's hardly any pilling at all. And I wear this at least once a week, probably more. So I love how this yarn is holding up. So it's my favorite. I love the Heavy Merino from Knitting for Olive. If I could only choose one yarn to knit from the rest of my life, that's the one I'd go for. Which is also why my next project, which is this, is also knit in Knitting for Olive's Heavy Merino. And here you need to excuse this little thing because this one broke. I broke it and I'm so sad, but I'm gonna fix it. So look here. I broke it. I got stuck on something, so I teared the yarn. It started to unravel and I panicked because it wasn't at home. So I just put one of these clips on here because I needed to order yarn because I didn't have any left. So I'm gonna go back and fix it. This is the chunky Dahlia. And I made it in Knitting for Olive's Heavy Merino in the color Rust. And yeah, I'm gonna back up for you. How? This is what it looks like. I also love this. I wear this a lot. And to this one, I added some short rows in the back, but I added them after the motif. So you have this lace pattern, and I added some short rows after that to basically to get the neck to be a bit higher than the front so that it sits better around the throat. I made it long, this one, instead of cropped. And the sleeves are quite long as well. They're like this long, which is pretty long. But usually I just fold them, which I really like because it matches the folded collar. I do like bracelet length of my sweaters or super long, which is why I made this one super long, because I can choose to do it super long or just fold it. And usually I just fold it. This is also a sweater that gets a lot of wear. I like this one a lot. I've worn it so much during the autumn because of the color, which I think is perfect for autumn, and the lace pattern, and it's also warm because it's the Heavy Merino. So I wear this a lot as well. And I don't think I would change anything about the sweater if I knit it again. I just really, really enjoy this one. Moving on. Also a little tip, if you haven't started doing that yourself, I always put like a bit of contrast on the inside of the neck so that I know which part is the back without having to think about it. So I think this is the next one that I did. I am not 100% sure. I'm going off of memory here. I could look it up, but I'm too lazy at the moment. So the next one is my test knit for the Semper sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl. Knit Pearl Girl. Sophie Hemmings. I'm gonna put this on for you. This is the Testknit, which had a problem with the sleeves. The sleeves were too big in the Testknit, which Sophie then fixed for the final pattern, so it's a lot better now. But we did like freestyling decreases on the sleeves, which she allowed during the Testknit because of like the problems with the fit. So this is not like 100% representation of the final pattern because of the sleeve changes she did. But this is the Testknit. I did this in the yarn Cotton Sultan Deluxe Shine, I think. And the color was Black Orlov, I think. Which is a 100% cotton yarn, which I think is where I started to go wrong. Because this one, it has a lot more drape than I would prefer, which I think is why I don't reach for this so much. It's actually kind of funny because I don't reach for this sweater a lot, but when I actually wear it, I do really like it. I wore it just the other day when we went to a restaurant. I do really like it, but for some reason I don't reach for it as much as I do for my woolen sweaters, and I think it's the yarn. It was also a super, this is a sport weight, I think, so it's almost a little bit see-through, which is not my fave either, so that's probably why. I'm gonna step back so you can see it. So this is what it looks like. And I think I should reach for this sweater more because I do like it when I wear it. I feel comfortable in it. I like the way it glitters. But, you know, for some reason I don't. And these sleeves, matching the sleeves of like the fade in the yarn for the sweater was a big like mountain to climb over when I was knitting this. What I did is that I knitted the yoke and then I weighed my yarn to know how much I had used. And then I had 2 other skeins for each sleeve, so I just unraveled the same amount, and I thought it was going to be a disaster anyways, but it actually looks quite good. I think I pulled it off, so I'm happy with that. And also, I didn't tell you, but the Semper has a folded collar, and I think the effect of that is kind of lost in this yarn choice that I did, which is sad. Moving on. The next sweater is another Felix pullover because I needed another one. But this is the summer edition that I made. So this one I made in the yarn Drops Bomull-Lin. Is that the name? Cotton linen. It's a cotton linen mix. I don't remember the colors. Held together with Knitting for Olives Pure Silk. I was like, I feel like there's 2 strands here. This is so funny when you make something you don't remember. I wore this a ton. I wore this so much this summer. Like pretty much every other day I wore this sweater. So I might have to make another one for like the coming summer because I did wear this so much. I matched it to the other one that I made. I made it like maybe a tiny bit longer because I think my gauge was a little bit different. The sleeves are also longer than on the heavy merino one because I do like that in the summer when you put on a sweater and you want to snuggle up a bit. I didn't do the folded collar, which is why it's like popping out a bit. I don't mind actually when it comes to like a summer sweater if you're wearing like a nice dress underneath. The only thing that bothers me when it comes to this one is that my sleeves are not the same size. I don't know how it happened, but like my second sleeve is bigger than the first one. I put it on and was like, I feel like the cuffs are different tightness. And then I actually counted, and yeah, I do have 4 more stitches on my right sleeve than my left, which is bothering me a little bit because the left one is perfect. I love that one, and the right one is just too big. So I tried to like block it in, didn't work. Doesn't bother me super much, so I still wore it a lot, but it is a little bit annoying. So I might make another one in this type of yarn for the next summer, and then I will keep more attention to make sure that the sleeves are the same size. Also, I have to say, this is probably the only sweater in the mix that has gotten more than one block. I think I blocked this 2 times, maybe 3, because during the summer, this sweater had a little bit of an accident. Because we were outside, I picked Iris up and she was like sitting on me. And then I looked down and was like, ah, what happened? So apparently she found the place where we were at, there were some cherry trees. So she had found cherries on the ground, which she had like squeezed. So she had cherry juice all over her hands. And then she went like this on me. So this sweater had cherry juice all over it, which was not very fun to notice because I was freaking out. And I had finished this sweater like 2 weeks ago then and was like, ah, not my new sweater. So I like ran, I soaked it, and it all just came out. I was so surprised. I think that was because it didn't have time to like dry or anything, because I saw it when it happened. But like literally there were like 5 handprints of sherry on this sweater and it all went away. Thank you, knitting gods. So obviously I don't wear this sweater a lot now because it is very cold in Sweden where I live. But I have worn it so much during the summer, and I will probably make another one. If not like the same pattern, then at least in like the same yarn kind of feel. Then I made this one, which is the Yggdrasil Pullover by Anna Sjöstrand. And this sweater I wear not so much. And I'm gonna tell you why. This is what it looks like. And when I put it on now, I feel like, why do I not wear this more? I do like it. But I think the sleeve is a little bit too big. I think the yoke is too deep. I think the neckline is too wide, and I don't love the yarn. So there are a lot of things that make me not go for this sweater. I do like it. I have this, it has this raglan braid that goes all the way down the side. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it keeps going all the way down the side. I also made this one cropped so I can wear it over skirts and dresses. And this is the Peruvian from Filcolana in the color Alaskan Blue, I think. And I did the Jenny surprisingly stretchy bind off. The reason I don't like the yarn here, I love the color. I'm happy that I went for the blue because I do really like it. But this yarn, it pills like crazy, and I'm going crazy about it. I've de-pilled this sweater maybe 3 times, and it's still doing this. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? There are so many pills here. And like I said, I don't wear this a ton, and I've de-pilled it more than any of my other sweaters, and it's still doing it. So that makes me not reach for it. And then we have the yoke depth. This is like my armpit. So the sweater has like 20 centimeters, maybe 15, 20 centimeters of yoke depth. So maybe I should have made a smaller size. But I went for the like bust circumference that was recommended, I think. Yeah, I should have gone for a smaller size probably, because there's a lot of yoke depth here, which is why the sleeves are too big. And it's probably also why the neckline feels wide, because I went for a size that should have been smaller, because I would have preferred the neckline to sit like there, and now it sits out here, which is not my fave. So I don't know. I don't wear this a lot. I wear it sometimes. I do like the feel of the yarn, the Peruvian. I went for it because I wanted to see if it was similar to the heavy merino, and it feels kind of like the heavy merino. It's like a bit rustic but not scratchy. But yeah, I'm not a friend with the pilling of this yarn. I don't mind pilling. It's expected when you're a knitter. You just have to live with it, but to some extent, right? To some extent. So I might make this sweater again. I do like the look of it with the braid raglan, but then I would probably make a folded collar, and then I would probably make a smaller size, and maybe like ignore the increased rate of the pattern and just increase it till it fit me instead, because yeah, the yoke depth is just a little bit too much for my liking. The next sweater is in the naughty corner at the moment, and it might just stay there because it's annoying me. And it's my No Frills modified version, the red one. I love this one. I wear it so much, like so much, but it keeps breaking. I don't know why, if it's the yarn or if it's, I did de-pill this once and I might have gone a bit aggressive on it. Maybe that's why. But like, I already mended 3 holes in the sweater and redid the entire ribbing on the bottom because it broke. And I was wearing it the other day for like the days between Christmas and New Year's. And someone was like, do you know that there's a hole in your sleeve? And I was like, oh my God. So this sweater is, we're not friends at the moment because it keeps breaking on me. But I do love it. So this is based on, this is also very dirty. This needs a wash. This is based on the pattern No Frills by Testknit. I modified it a bit. I made a 2-stitch raglan instead of 1. I made the sleeves a lot smaller, and I made a smaller size because I didn't really go for the like circumference that they recommend. I just started knitting it and knitted it until I felt like it fit me, which is usually what I do when it comes to raglans. I just try them on and I was like, no, I need more increases, or yep, this is it. I don't really go from the stitch counts. I just go from what it feels like on my body. But yeah, I remade these sleeves 4 times to get them to be really, really like tapered the way I want the sleeve to be. It's so nice. I love this sweater, the way it fits me, the way it feels, but it keeps breaking. So this is, no, that's a hole that I fixed. Where's the hole? Oh, I can't even find the hole now. It is here somewhere on the sleeve. Maybe it was on the other sleeve. Here it is. There it is. Do-do-do-do. So I'm gonna have to fix it again, and I do have more yarn of this, so I'll just keep mending it, but it is bothering me. I don't know if it's because of the yarn, if it's not strong enough. This was the Lana VIP in the color Rosso, or if it's because I went too aggressive on it when I de-pilled it. Might have been. But this yarn is also pilling a lot, which I expected. This is a merino cashmere like mix, so I expected this to pill a lot, so I'm fine with that. Compared to the Peruvian, which is not even a merino, and it's still pilling like crazy. That's pilling like more than my cashmere, which is strange. Yeah, I love the fit of this. I redid the ribbing because it broke, and it just keeps breaking. I'll show it to you. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna mend it because I do wear this so much and I would like to keep doing that, but if it keeps breaking on me, I don't know if I have it in me to keep mending it because it's so annoying. Like, I wore this to school one day, and during like that one day I found 2 holes and the ribbing broke. And it wasn't like because with the chunky Dahlia that has a broken ribbing, it was because I got like stuck on something and I didn't notice, and then I snipped it. Like with the chunky Dahlia that also has a broken ribbing, it was like I told you, because I got stuck on something and I broke it. But with this red one, it just keeps breaking by itself. Like literally, I'm not even doing anything, and it's like, oh no, there's a hole. Where did that come from? So yeah, it's annoying me. I'm gonna take a little bit of like break from talking about the sweaters that I made for myself now and talk about the 2 gift knits that I made. These are obviously not in chronological order now with all the other sweaters. But I did make my mother a t-shirt. I'll put up a picture. I think the pattern was bulky t-shirt something. I made this for her. She really wanted it. She bought the yarn. She told me what she wanted, so I just went for what she wanted. She wanted a t-shirt with she wanted a v-neck t-shirt with like a nice edging, so that's what I did. I did the I-cord edging on the v-neck and on the sleeves. I did a double folded hem. Yeah, you know, the one that you knit and then you fold and you sew it. And I did not like the look of that. But I think that was because I was lazy when I sewed it, so it went a little bit skewed. Maybe I'll do that again. I forgot that I did that. And I also added a few short rows to the front because she wanted it to be longer in the front than in the back. So that's also something that I did, which made it a little bit loose around like her stomach area. So we put an elastic in to just cinch it a little bit, which made this little nice ruffle effect. So we like that. Yeah, it was a nice project. It was my first ever V-neck. It's my only ever V-neck. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was also my first time doing an I-cord bind off and bind like edge, which I really liked as well. So yeah, a lot of new techniques. First V-neck, first I-cord, first picking up of stitches around the neckline, and the first folded hem. So a lot of new techniques, and I felt like I learned a lot during that one. So that was fun. The second gift knit that I made was the Sille slipover for my sister. I'll pop in a picture of it here. Also the only ever slipover I made. The first and only time I ever did a tubular bind off on the sleeves. On like the sleeves, on the neckline, and on the body. It took me so long. I have to be honest and say that it does look really nice. Yeah, I don't know, I don't have a lot to say about that. It was a very fun project to make because it was also the first time I made something that was like structured all over, following a chart for the entire garment, which was fun. And I love the shoulder construction. It is gorgeous. So yeah, that was fun as well. I'm gonna take a Coca-Cola break. So I have 4 more sweaters to show you, I think. No, 5. So we're gonna get going. The next one is a Felix pullover. Surprise! Because I wore that like red one that I showed you, the Bordeaux one, so much that I was like, I need another one of these because I can't wear the same one all the time. I need to have at least 2 so I can alternate. So I made another one. It's basically the same. It's also heavy merino in the color Trenchcoat. I counted the rows and everything to get this to match the first one. So it is exactly the same. It has the folded collar. It's the same amount of rows underneath the like split for the sleeves. The only thing that happened, I don't know how, because I did count the decreases and everything, but when I finished it and was blocking it, I took the measurements of the red one so that the measurements for this one would be the same after blocking. I realized the sleeves were longer because for some reason, I don't know how it happened, because I did count the decreases. I made an extra section, like an extra decrease, so this much more, and then another decrease, but it's not a problem. I just folded the sleeves and it fits me perfectly. So, and this also gets a lot of wear now. I alternate between this and the red one. I love them both, and yeah, they're probably my most worn sweaters. I do really like this pattern, and which is why I've already shown you 3 of these, and there's another sweater in this pile that is modeled from this pattern but without the lace. So I do love the Felix. It's my favorite pattern so far. It fits me perfectly, and it's so nice to knit because these sections with the lace, they're so interesting because it's not hard at all, but you keep going and you're like, oh, just one more section, and you just keep going, and it's also knit on quite like Aran weight, right? Because heavy merino's Aran, is it? Yeah, I think so. I think the gauge is 16 stitches, so it's quite a big gauge. Which means it's also super fast knit. I really love it. I'm gonna make more, I think. I really would like a green one, maybe. Or a gray one would be nice. Yeah. My wardrobe is basically gonna be filled with Felix pullovers. That's just how it is. The next one is the Gabe 1 by Andrea Mowry, which I also wear so much. I love this sweater. This is the one I reach for when I'm looking for like an everyday cozy thing and I'm not wearing a skirt. This is what I go for usually. which is why this is also very dirty because I've been wearing it a lot during Christmas. I need to go back and fix this because my gauge was a little bit off here on some of the increasing, which created these few holes. I do have some yarn left, so I'll go back and just duplicate stitch that on the back so you don't see it. This is the Gabe one by Andrea Mowry. It is a full-on textured sweater with this braid over the raglan. I love this one. I need to put an elastic in here, I think, because my collar is stretching out a bit, which I don't like. So I'm gonna go back and put an elastic in here just to keep it a little bit tight. But yeah, it has 2x2 rib, which is gorgeous. I really prefer that, I think, to 1x1. It's gorgeous. And it's all this texture. I did a few extra decreases to the sleeves because I wanted them to be quite fitted, which I like. This is also super long, which I also like. And this is knit up in the yarn, also Peruvian Highland wool from Filcolana in the color Burnt Sienna. And likewise as the Alaskan blue one, this is pilling like crazy. And I was gonna go and depill it, but that was right after the red one started to break. And so it's been scaring me about going with the depiller because I was like, oh no, what if I break it? I like this one so much. So I've been like going by hand and taking pills away. But I am gonna go over it with a depiller because it does pill a crazy amount. Like I said, I don't love this yarn. I probably won't use it a lot more because of the pilling. Especially when the gauge to this yarn is kind of close to the gauge that I get with a heavy merino. I could probably match this gauge with heavy merino as well by like changing needle sizes. So I think I might just go for that one instead. But I do love the color of this. It's so gorgeous. And the feel, and yeah, I wear this a lot. It's probably during this like winter time when I wear more like pants and like jeans and stuff. This is probably my most worn sweater. I reach for this a lot. I like it. And it was also very fun to like dive into a full-on textured knit. It was a bit scary, but I love the way this turned out. It's so beautiful. I also like that she put the short rows into the neck, which makes it very easy to see which part is the back because it's wider. But it's also nice because the texture doesn't get like bothered by or interrupted or anything by the short rows. Then we have this little beaut. This is modeled from the Felix pullover. So this is technically my 4th Felix pullover this year. This is made using Olan hand-dyed yarns, organic Aran in the color Industrial, and I modeled it, like I said, from the Felix pullover with the double folded collar that I added, and instead of doing the lace pattern, I did a 2-stitch raglan. You can't really see because of the nature of the yarn, but it is there. And I kept the increase rates and everything from the Felix. I just didn't do the lace pattern because I already had 3 of those sweaters in my wardrobe and I felt like I needed something else. And I didn't do any modification to the sleeves because this pattern is perfect for my arms. Yeah, it's just a basic, very cropped raglan. Super cropped. This is probably my favorite sweater of the year. And I realized that this color combo might not be everyone's favorite, but I love this one. I feel like it's very different, it's kind of fun, and yeah, I feel very comfortable in this sweater, and it also makes me feel a bit fancy for some reason. Yeah, I really like it, and like I said, I know that this might not be everyone's favorite, might not be the kind of yarn or like full-on sweater that somebody would wear. You might do like color work in this kind of yarn, but I love this one. It's my favorite of the year, to be honest. It's also having a bit of pilling, So I'll probably depill this at some point. I wore this, I've been wearing it a lot. I feel like every time I'm wearing a skirt or a dress this winter, I'm going for this one. Because I've worn the Felix pullovers so much, I feel like this one needs a bit of love, and it's also my favorite sweater of the year. So yeah, this is gonna get a lot of wear. It's making me happy just looking at it. If this breaks, I'm gonna be so sad. So if I'm gonna depill it, I'll be gentle. The next one is the zipper sweater by Testknit. I'm gonna put it on for you. I wore this in my last episode, if you've seen that one. The one that I filmed in the snow. So I finished this sweater, the knitting, a lot sooner than where it's placed now chronologically. This was probably like my 4th or 5th sweater this year. But it took me 4 months to get around to sewing the zipper because I just wasn't excited about it. Yeah. This is it. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I did talk about it in my last episode. But it is made in Drops Nepal. The color is Deep Ocean. I'm in love with the sweater. I'm in love with the color. It's not even been a month since I sewed the zipper in. I've already used this a lot because we went to northern Sweden where there's a lot of snow. Because this is the perfect sweater to just throw on when it's cold outside and just going out for a little while. So like when I was going out to get firewood for the fireplace, or when we were just taking a small walk or whatever, I put this on. I like it so much. I'm gonna make another one because I feel like this is not gonna be a sweater that I cherish in a way that makes me feel like I can't wear it because I'm afraid it's gonna wear out. I'm gonna use this one, and yeah, I might be rough on the sweater because I'm gonna use it when we go on like snowmobiles. I might use it when I go skiing. Yeah, I'm not gonna be afraid to use this sweater because that's why I made it. So I might make another one just to have two so I can alternate so they stay fresh longer. And I'm also going to make the slipover, which I've talked about before. I do have the yarn for that already. I even gauged for it, but I am reconsidering my yarn choice. Because I made this in Drops Nepal, which is an alpaca mix, which makes it very drapey. And I would like one that is not so drapey. So I think I might make one in heavy merino. I think I can match the gauge. I think it's 18 stitches. No, maybe it was 14. I'm not sure about the gauge at the moment, but it was kind of close to what I had on the Felix pullovers, so I think I can match it with the heavy merino. Worst case, I'd have to add an extra strand of something, which I can definitely do. So I might make one of these in heavy merino as well, because I do really like it, and it's so warm and cozy because of the double folded collar, which is perfect. And I'm very proud of this sweater. I feel like this is one of the sweaters that I wear and feel most proud of. I'm like, yeah, I made that. Which is very, very nice. I think it's the zipper part. It's like, wait, you made that? Yeah, I did. So I'm very proud of this sweater, and I am going to be wearing it a lot. So we are now on to the last sweater of the year, and this one is not blocked. So be kind to it because I need to block it. It's gonna be super nice when I block it. This is another Semper sweater by the Knit Pro girl, Sophie Hemmings. I made this using the new pattern. So the sleeves are a lot better, as you can see. I also made a few extra decreases to the end of the sleeve because that's just the way I like my sweaters. So I did that so that it's fitted all the way, because that's what I prefer. This is made out of Knitting for Olive's merino and one strand of alpaca 1 from Yggdrasil. I'm trying that out for this sweater to see if it can be a good option for me for mohair, because with mohair, I'm not super big fan of the halo. Like, I think it looks nice, but when I wear it, I feel like I'm wearing a fur coat, which I don't like. So I'm trying this out, Alpaca One, to see if it's a good like option for me when it comes to switching out the mohair. I just got a feeling that I wore this the wrong way around. I didn't. I had to check. So yeah, this is the Semper sweater. It's not blocked yet, so it's going to grow a little bit and like loosen up, you know, the power of blocking. This is what it looks like. And I think this is gonna be my new basic raglan design that I use when I need just like a simple raglan in my wardrobe that I can modify accordingly to what I'm looking for at the moment. Because I like that it has the folded collar, which the No Frills doesn't. Because the No Frills has been my go-to pattern for that previously. And this has the double folded collar, which I like. It also has a different construction, an increased rate when it comes to the raglan, which I prefer. And the sleeve is more my style than the No Frills. I just prefer it. So this is probably gonna be my new one. I might try the lento because everybody's talking about the lento, but I do really like this pattern and I like how it looks. I just need to block it so that it's perfect and ready for wear. Yeah, that's my year. Oh my god. I like how, at least me, I can see how this is the year that I've been trying to build the wardrobe of my dreams. Because there's been a long time in my life where I haven't felt comfortable at all in my clothes. And that has changed a lot for me this year. And I think that is mostly because of my knitting. Because I've been able to make sweaters that I'm proud of because I made them, in the colors that I chose because I like them, and in like a construction and a size that actually fits my body. And that has given me a lot more like confidence when it comes to wearing clothes. I feel a lot more comfortable in my clothes this year, and I think it's because of the knitting. So I love how this like little hobby that I started during my pregnancy has turned out to be a big part of my life, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud of myself for it. Yeah. So this year, 2022, has been the year where I've been trying to build like the staples that I need in the wardrobe that I want. And I feel like 2023 might be the one where I go for the little more pops in the color, if that makes sense. There's obviously going to be a few staples in there as well. But yeah, I like the feeling of building the wardrobe of your dreams that actually fits you. So here they are in all their glory, all of the sweaters that I made this year. Apart from the 2 gift knits that I don't have because I gave them away, obviously. But yeah. So I'm gonna end this video here, but I do have a question for you. Do you have a good like mohair alternative for me that I could try? I don't want it to have like a huge halo, so brushed alpaca or alpaca silk or whatever is not a good choice because it has a big halo as well as the mohair. I've tried Alpaca One now. I am not going to judge it before I block it, obviously. But so far so good. It's not scratching me yet, but it is a little bit prickly maybe. But it's still not blocked, so no judgment. But I am looking for options. So if you have any good tips, please leave them in the comments. That would really mean a lot because I really do need tips when it comes to changing out the like lace weight in the patterns for something else lace weight that does not have a huge halo and is not mohair. So if you have good tips, please leave them below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said in the beginning, this is part 1. There's going to be part 2 with all the baby knits that I made if you're interested. So stay tuned for that. I might also put in some of the like accessories that I made this year in that video. We'll see. But yeah, hope you have a good day. I hope you have a great 2023. and I will see you when I see you. Bye!